Hello students. In my previous video lesson, I have already started with this new chapter, that is measurement of national income, where I give you a brief introduction about the first type of method, that is value added method to calculate this national income. Okay. So, in today's video lesson, I am going to proceed with the next topic of that value added method, that is the steps involved in measuring this value national income using this value added method. Okay. And once we go we will see the all these steps, then we will see that what are the precautions we should take during the calculation. Okay. Of this national income and all. Okay. So, let us see, let us start with the topic steps of value added method. So, first of all, we need to calculate the value of output. As I have discussed in the previous lesson, that all the producers, okay, be it any sector, okay, it may be a farmer or maybe a miller or a industrialist or any service sector owner, okay, whoever be the person, whatever output that person has produced, okay, we need to calculate the value of that output first. So, how we can calculate the value of output? Value of output is equals to production of self consumption plus sales plus change in stock. See, this first part, production of self consumption, you might not get in the book. Okay, this part in the formula section where you will get the formula of this value of output, you might not get this particular term, but I have included it because after studying all these things, when we will move down to the numericals and all, so sometimes you may get this type of terms or particulars, okay, and that time you may get confused. Okay, so whether we need to add it or not. So, it is better to keep this value, means it is better to remember this formula only. Okay, the production of self consumption should be included in the value of output. Now, the question is, ma'am, what is this production of self consumption? The production of self consumption means sometimes we can see that the producers or the farmer, they have produced or cultivated some products, okay, and they keep some products with themselves for their personal use, for their family, okay. So, that is known as self consumption. And why we should include it under the value of output? Because the person who is keeping those product, okay, that amount that he or she is keeping for his or her family or himself or herself, that those products, if he or she is not keeping with himself or herself, then they might have to purchase it from the market, okay, or it is, means there is a value of that product as well, okay. It should be the total product, okay, value of the total product that has been produced, okay. So, self consumption should be included, okay. You should not exclude that if there is self consumption. If there is no self consumption, no one is consuming their own goods actually directly, so then that thing, this value will be 0, okay. At that time no need to calculate that one, okay. If there is self consumption, then definitely you have to add it with the other components. What are those other components? Sales and change in stock. What is the sales and change in stock now? Sales is what? Sales is how much they are selling, means after their self consumption, whatever amount they are having, they are, means that is the surplus, okay, marketable surplus, and they are selling it in the market, so that they can earn money from that and they can purchase some other products as well, okay, for their livelihood. So, that sales, how much product they are selling. Most of the cases, in most of the numericals you will get only this sales and change in stock part, okay. But in some numericals you might get this production of for self consumption part as well, okay. That is why I have mentioned it in the formula, okay. It is better to remember this, okay. So sales is what? Sales is how much product they are, the producer is selling, okay. So if you get the value of that as well, you can add it with the self consumption if there is, and along with that if there is any stock, okay, means it might happen that the entire amount that has been produced is not sold out, or they did not keep it for their self consumption, then what to do? So that stock will comes under the change in stock, and there is a formula for this as well. See, the sales should be the domestic sale plus export, means the product can be sold out in the within the country as well as in the foreign market as well. So if the person is selling it within the domestic territory, within the country, that part will be included, as well as if they are exporting their goods, okay. So that part will also, you should include that part as well. And then comes the price into quantity. See, this is the one formula. This you should not be confused by this slash. This is not divided by, this is odd sign, means either you can write this formula or you can write this formula, okay. That is price into quantity, means whatever quantity the producer has sold out into the per unit price, okay. When suppose 10 units good has been sold and the price of each unit is 10 rupees, so total sale is 100 rupees, okay, like that, okay. So the formula for the sales is what? Domestic sales plus exports if there is export, okay. And so you have to add that one, or you have another formula, that is price into quantity, okay. And for the change in stock, what is the formula? How you will get the change in stock? That is the closing stocks minus opening stock, means what was the stock when you have the whole production has been closed, and minus means you have to subtract opening stock, means what was the stock when you have started it, okay. So that opening means you have opened the shop or open your factory, so what was the stock at that time and what was the stock during the closing period, okay. So closing stock minus opening stock will give you the remaining stock, that is the change in stock, that you have to keep in mind, and that part you have to, if there is any change in stock, if there is a positive value or greater than 0 value of this change in stock is there, then definitely means you have to put it under sales. It might be negative as well, okay. So whatever value the change in stock, it might be negative, it might be positive, it depends on the values of closing stock and opening stock. So whatever value you are getting, you have to add it with the sales and production of for self consumption, then you will get what? The value of output, okay. So next one is intermediate consumption. Intermediate consumption is equals to purchase of raw material plus miscellaneous charges, that is consumption. Intermediate consumption means during the production, as we all know, we need resources, raw materials and all those things. So and the producer has to purchase those raw materials, so there is a cost behind that, they spend some money. So how much they have spent for that purchase of raw materials, and you have to add some miscellaneous, there might be some miscellaneous charges like electricity bill, telephonic bill and all those things. So that charges you should include under that, and you will get what? Intermediate consumption. Now once you get this value of output and intermediate consumption, you can calculate the value added, okay. Before that, let me tell you the purchase of raw material, like sales. The producer can sell their product within the country, outside the country. Similarly, the producer might purchase their raw materials from within the country, rather from the domestic territory, or it might happen that they have to import it from the outside in the foreign country. Okay, so purchase of raw materials is what? Domestic purchase plus imports. Purchase of raw material will be what? Again, let me tell you, domestic purchase plus import. And there might be some miscellaneous charges, as I said, electricity bill, telephonic bill, water charges, etc. So once you add on this two, you will get what? Intermediate consumption. Okay, so now how you can calculate the value added? How much value the producer has added to the product that he has been manufactured or she has been manufactured. That how you can get it? The value of the output. Okay, the means value of that finished output, okay, minus the intermediate consumption. How much he or she has spent for the intermediate goods, okay, that if he or she subtract from the total output, value of output, okay, then the person will get the value added. Okay. Now, once you get this value added for different sectors or different companies, okay, so gross value added, how you will get? The gross value added or GV at MP. Okay, why MP? Market price, because here we have to consider all the values, means values of all the products in market price. Okay, so values of the gross value added will be what? Sum of all the value added. Value added you got from the company A, company B, company C, like that. Means whatever value added you got from the every companies. Okay, while you are calculating the national income in the country, there are several companies, okay, several industries, several places, okay, production units. So once you add all the value added of all the sectors, okay, you will get what? Sum of value added or gross value added. And this is also you can means write it in this way: sigma value added or summation value added. Okay. Now, once you get this summation value added or GV at MP, okay, then how you can calculate the GDP at MP? Gross domestic product. Gross domestic product will be equals to your summation GV at MP. Ma'am, why this? Again you are summing up this, because this it might happen you have calculated this gross value added for different sectors, say primary, secondary and tertiary. So once you have calculated this gross value added for three different sectors, and now if you are adding all the values, okay, all the values of all these three sectors, you will get the total one, okay, total production in the domestic territory, that is the GDP at MP, and that is why this is summation GV at MP. If there is only one commodity, okay, or one factory producing the one commodity, then simply your GDP at MP will be your GV at MP. Okay. Now, once you get this GDP at MP, from you know that how to convert it, okay, you know the golden rule from the previous chapters, okay, you need to apply those golden rule here. Your main motive is what? To calculate the national income, that is NNP at FC. So NI or NNP at FC, okay, you have to convert this GDP at MP into NNP at FC. So what you have to do with GDP at MP, you have to deduct or subtract depreciation from it, so that you can convert this gross into net. Then you have to add NFIA with the domestic product, so that you can get the national product. And lastly, to convert this market price into factor cost, what you need to do? You have to subtract this NIT, that is net indirect tax. So this is the formula, okay. So in this way you can calculate what? National income or NNP at FC using this value added method. You have to follow all these steps, and again it depends on the particulars or the values that are given, okay, to you. So what are the particulars, what are the values are given to you? On the basis of that you have to follow the steps. It might happen the directly the value added is given to you. So you have to know there is no use of the previous 3 steps actually. Directly from value added you can sum up the value added, then you can apply this step, and then directly you can move down to this step. Okay, so it depends that what are the values are given to you. Now let me tell you what are the precautions we have to take during this value added method. The first of all, the items we should include here is intermediate goods are not include, rather the intermediate goods, the value of the intermediate goods should not be included in the national income. Okay, that we have learned in the basic concepts as well, that we should include only the value of the final goods. We should not include the value of the intermediate goods. Okay, sale and purchase of second hand goods should not be included. Okay, why? Because that is the second hand good. During the first hand transaction, when the brand new product has been sold out, at that time we have already taken the value of that product. Okay, in that national income calculation. So again, if you are in the second hand product, you are reselling is different. Okay, but here if you after using for 1 or 2 years or 1 or 2 months, again now you are reselling it, you are selling it to someone. So this will be considered a second hand or third hand. He can also sell it to someone else. So this type of second hand or third hand transactions we should not be included. Okay, we have to include only the first hand transaction. Now the production of services for self consumption are not included. Okay, production of services for self consumption means if I am cooking food for myself, that should not be, means that I am providing that service to myself actually, or I am cooking food for my family or any family members, my mother, my husband, my father or anybody else, means they are cooking some foods for ourselves. So it should not be included under the, means there should not be any, means we are not charging for that, and that should not be included under the in national income accounting. Okay, and now see what are the things we should include. We should include the goods for self consumption, not services. Services that we are giving, that should not be included. But if we are, means if we have a agricultural land and we are cultivating rice over there, and some quantity of rice we are keeping with ourselves for our family consumption, and rest of the amount we are selling, then that self consumption goods, that is self consumption good. Okay, or rather consumption of goods actually. So that thing we should include. Then the imputed value of owner occupied houses should be included in the national income, since they enjoy housing services similar to those who stay in rented house actually. So the owner occupied house also need to be kept, means if it is your house, but still you are getting all the facilities like rented out, so that part also need to be included. And change in stock of goods will be included in national income, means that part also we need to keep in our consideration. We should use that change in stock because it will add on in the capital. Okay, this leads to the capital formation. So change in stock we also need to include. Okay, so these are the particulars we need to include. Okay, so you need to, means while you are calculating this national income, you need to keep in your mind that intermediate goods and all the value of intermediate goods or second hand goods should not be included, but the value of final goods should be included. Consumption goods, value of self consumption goods should be included, and all those things. Okay, the imputed rent should be included. Okay, change in stock should be included. So these are the basic things you need to, or points, important points you need to remember while you are calculating the national income of a country. Okay, so these are the precautions simply. So for the time being, let it be here till here, and in the next class I will discuss the next part of this chapter with you. Okay, for the time being, thank you students.